Welcome back to our channel, dear friends. It is a beautiful day to gather together, pour a warm cup of coffee, and dive deeply into the drama, the romance, and the unforgettable faces of Port Charles that we all hold so incredibly dear to our hearts. We always love sharing these special moments with you. I have been thinking so deeply lately about a certain resident of Port Charles who always manages to keep me completely on the edge of my seat every single time I turn on my television screen. I am talking, of course, about the incredibly complex, deeply layered, and endlessly fascinating Valentin Cassadine, brought to life so masterfully by the immensely talented James Patrick Stewart. As a long-time dedicated viewer who has spent countless afternoons invested in these storylines, I have watched so many different characters come and go through the revolving doors of General Hospital, but I must admit that there is something uniquely captivating and utterly magnetic about Valentin. He is a man who can seamlessly and quietly slip into the darkest, most dangerous shadows of our beloved town, orchestrating secret plots that leave me absolutely breathless with anticipation, and then, just as easily, he can step right back into the bright light of day and become a crucial, almost respectable pillar of the Port Charles community. It is a striking duality that constantly plays with my emotions, making me question on a daily basis whether I should fear his next move or wholeheartedly root for his ultimate redemption. Honestly, I find myself completely and hopelessly drawn to this unpredictability. Every single time he vanishes from the screen, I feel a distinct aching void in the daily drama, a quiet, empty space where his sharp wit and dangerous charm used to reside. It is incredibly important for all of us to remember that Valentin is officially a recurring character, which essentially means we are always at the absolute mercy of his sudden arrivals and his abrupt, heartbreaking departures. Sometimes I worry deep down in my soul that we might lose him for good, that the dark shadows of his past will finally swallow him whole and take him away from our screens forever. Yet, despite my constant anxieties, I have come to realize that his recurring status is exactly what makes his every single appearance feel like a monumental special event. I wonder if you lovely ladies feel the exact same way when he suddenly walks back into a crowded room, instantly commanding the undivided attention of everyone around him with just a single piercing glance. But what I find truly fascinating, and what really deepens my profound appreciation for the man behind this iconic character, is the real-life story of James Patrick Stewart himself. I was quite surprised and deeply moved to learn recently that when Valentin takes a break from the tumultuous, high-stakes world of General Hospital, James is not just simply stepping away from the soap opera set. He is actually taking a much-needed, deliberate respite from the entire exhausting Hollywood machine. In an entertainment industry that constantly demands absolute visibility and relentless self-promotion, I deeply respect and admire his courageous decision to prioritize his personal life, his mental well-being, and his family over the endless pursuit of the blinding spotlight. It makes me see him not just as a brilliant, captivating actor, but as a wonderfully grounded human being who truly understands the immense value of stepping back to breathe and live a normal life. I often find myself thinking back to the very beginning of his incredible journey on daytime television, and a massive wave of pure, unadulterated nostalgia washes over me every single time. Many of us who have been watching these stories unfold for decades remember him so fondly from his unforgettable, star-making debut on the classic soap opera All My Children. Watching him bring the character of Will Cortlandt to life all those years ago, I knew right then and there that he possessed a rare, undeniable talent that would carry him far. It feels like a beautiful lifetime ago, doesn't it? I still feel a deep, comforting, emotional connection to those classic All My Children days, and seeing James carry that incredible legacy forward into Port Charles brings a profound sense of continuity to my daily viewing routine. It is exactly like watching a dear old friend grow, evolve, and conquer new challenges over the passing decades. It is also incredibly interesting and delightful to consider his rich, fascinating family history, which I firmly believe adds a wonderful, undeniable layer of charm to his on-screen presence. James is the proud son of the legendary Chad Stewart, who was famously one half of the iconic 1960s British comedy and music duo Chad and Jeremy. Knowing this wonderful piece of trivia, I can suddenly see exactly where James gets his effortless charisma, his perfect comedic timing, and that undeniable, mischievous twinkle in his eye. It makes perfect logical sense to me that a man descended from such classic, beloved entertainment royalty would be able to command a television screen with such incredible ease and natural grace. I often find myself wondering if he actively draws inspiration from his father's incredible legacy when he is carefully crafting the complex, multifaceted layers of Valentin casting. Over the many years I have followed his career, I have thoroughly enjoyed spotting James in various other beloved television shows, and it absolutely always brings a massive smile to my face. Whether he was making me laugh out loud with his impeccable comedic timing in shows like Still Standing and Hot in Cleveland, or showing off his incredible versatility and range in The Villains of Valley View, he always manages to bring a completely unique, vibrant energy to the screen. However, I must confess that my heart truly skipped a beat back in the year 2016 when he first arrived in Port Charles. Do you remember the sheer intoxicating mystery of his initial introduction as the enigmatic, mysterious Theo Hart? I was completely and utterly hooked from that very first suspenseful moment, desperately trying to piece together his true identity and his ultimate hidden agenda. Fast forward to the dramatic events of July 2024, and my heart absolutely broke into a million pieces as I watched Valentin's incredibly emotional and dramatic exit from the show. Seeing him make the desperate choice to go on the run with his beloved, precious daughter, Charlotte, played so wonderfully and heartbreakingly by Bluesy Burke, was a deeply moving experience for me. As a father myself, I could viscerally and painfully feel his desperate, overwhelming need to protect his child at all absolute costs, even if it meant tragically leaving behind everything and everyone he knew in Port Charles. I sat in my living room, feeling a profound, heavy mix of sadness for their sudden departure and deep, unwavering empathy for a father's fierce, unconditional love. It made me wonder with intense curiosity what kind of difficult, frightening life they were living out there on the run, constantly looking over their shoulders in fear. It turns out that this incredibly dramatic on-screen departure coincided perfectly with a massive, life-altering transition for James in his own real life. I was absolutely thrilled and genuinely happy to learn that he and his lovely, supportive wife, Jocelyn, made the brave decision to pack up their entire lives and move from the chaotic, stressful energy of Los Angeles to the serene, breathtaking beauty of Portland, Oregon. I cannot help but feel a massive sense of joy and relief for them. Los Angeles can be such a demanding, overwhelming place to exist, and the idea of escaping to the lush, green, tranquil landscapes of the Pacific Northwest sounds absolutely idyllic and restorative. I believe it takes a massive amount of courage to make such a significant lifestyle change, and I deeply admire his willingness to prioritize his family's happiness and peace of mind above all else. I was completely touched and moved to tears when James shared some beautiful, intimate glimpses of his wonderful new life on social media. The following November, he posted the most heartwarming, beautiful photograph of himself spending precious time with his mother, who was visiting all the way from the United Kingdom. He wrote so lovingly about how beautiful she is and how much she closely resembles his sister, which I thought was just incredibly sweet and deeply endearing. Knowing that he was able to take his beloved mother on a wonderful tour of the absolute best, most scenic spots in his new home state of Oregon filled my heart with a genuine, lasting sense of warmth. It is so incredibly lovely and refreshing to see our favorite actors enjoying those quiet, precious family moments far away from the blinding glare of the Hollywood cameras. What in the world could these two formidable powerhouses be plotting together behind closed doors? Could they possibly be forming an unexpected, highly dangerous alliance to take down a common enemy? Or are we about to witness a spectacular, earth-shattering clash of titans that will leave the entire town shaking and forever changed? My personal, deeply held opinion is that whenever Valentin gets entangled with a strong, fiercely independent woman like Carly, the resulting on-screen chemistry is nothing short of pure, unadulterated television magic. I am completely on edge, waiting with bated breath to see exactly how their complex storylines will intertwine and what kind of magnificent, entertaining chaos they will unleash upon the unsuspecting residents of our favorite fictional city. What do you think, my dear friends? Are you as thrilled and impatient as I am to see Valentin back in action? And what kind of spectacular trouble do you truly believe he and Carly are about to stir up together?